Welcome to installing and activating Sage Mass Intelligence. In a previous lesson, you learned about the Software Download Manager and what you need to do in order to download your software. You would access the Download Manager through Sage Software Online. Now, that's not the only thing that you'll find in this page. You'll also see a link to the installation instructions as well as some other situations that you might encounter. Definitely print out the installation instructions and read them prior to completing the installation. In order to install the system, you would need one of these operating systems listed here. You need to have Microsoft Excel 2003 or higher to use the Intelligence product. Your hardware CPU needs to be 200 megahertz, memory 32 megabytes of RAM, and hard drive space of 200 megabytes. These are your minimum system requirements. Intelligence uses ODBC and OLADB technology to connect to the database. It includes direct support for many popular database systems and connection types within the connector module. In order to finish your Intelligence installation, you will need to create a shared folder for your report repository. You'll be prompted in the installation to point to that shared folder. So you might want to do this prior to the installation. So let's see how it works. As you learned in the software download lesson, you can either let the file execute automatically after you've downloaded it, or you can save it to your desktop. In either case, it is a wizard-based installation. I've saved it to my desktop and launched it by double-clicking on the icon. Once the program has evaluated whether you have enough space to load and prepared the file for loading, you'll come to this install screen, which again is wizard-based. So all you really need to do is select the next button. There is a licensing agreement that you can read and definitely need to accept before you can continue. You can also print it out. You'll notice that the install path defaults to Program Files Sage Software SMI. You can change this if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and leave it default and say Next. We then can review our installation. Once we're satisfied that this is what we want to have happen, we'll just go ahead and select the Install button. After the installation has completed, you'll be presented with this final screen, which you'll go ahead and say Finish. Another piece is being installed at this point, which could take a couple of minutes. And that completes the installation. Once you've installed the software, you're ready to go ahead and register it. But remember, prior to registration, you need to have a shared folder. If you have not created your shared folder for your repository, not to worry. Intelligence actually creates a folder that you can share depending on where you've installed the software. Now with my installation, I actually installed it in the default path. So if I look at the program files and go into Sage Software, I will see a folder called SMI, and you'll notice that I've already set up to share it. So this is going to be my shared repository folder. At this point, I'm ready to go in and register my software. So from my start, I'll go into All Programs, into Sage Software, into the Sage Mass 90 and 200 Intelligence, and into my Licensing Manager. Now you will be receiving unlocking keys for your product, and you'll need to have access and a connection to the internet in order to do this. So you'll go ahead and put in your unlocking keys. And apply them, and then you're ready to go ahead and select the button that says Perform Registration. At this point, your system is contacting the Sage Activation Server to verify your unlocking keys. And ideally, you receive this message that your registration has been completed successfully. So I'll go ahead and clear that, and now we can actually test it. And we can do that by going back to your start, into All Programs, to Sage Software, and let's just launch the Report Manager. Now you'll notice at this point you'll need to point to where your company information is, and then your report repository you'll be putting in your shared folder. You'll log on to a specific company with a mass username and password and just say OK. If you come to this window of the Report Manager, you have successfully installed and activated your software and you're ready to start writing reports.